Hey, JK here. I want to thank you for sharing part of your day with me. Ladies and gentlemen, we are done with week 19, and we have between 3 and 4 weeks left before the playoffs. The last few weeks here in the regular season are crucial for us to, one, get into the playoffs, and two, get the seeding we want and or need. What I mean by that is some of our leagues will offer first round buys for the people who are number one in their division, or if they're not divisions, the first 1 or 2 seeds or overall in the league. And that would be great for us to alleviate that pressure, because once you get in the playoffs, it's really no holds barred. Like, you are trying to do whatever you can to move on because you're not promised tomorrow or next week, or in some cases 2 weeks from now. It's going to be important for us to get that first round bye so we can forecast a little bit. Say this pitcher has a better matchup, or this hitter has a better string of games, or it'll be crucial for us not to have too many off days. Whenever that happens, we lose a day's worth of productivity, and those are runs, hits, home runs, RBI, stolen bases, average, OPS, etc. we're missing, and our hold, saves, innings pitched, strikes, ERA good, whip good, blown saves we're avoiding, all that good stuff. That we're not getting those, which we don't want, losses or blown saves. But that is something we're going to have to look at. But again, we're putting the cart before the horse. We still have a month worth of regular season games left. So we cannot be getting ahead of ourselves and say, oh, we're making the playoffs. This is what we're going to do. No, absolutely not. We have to stay focused. First team we're going to talk about this week is PCP, Peach Creek Purgatory. We stayed strong this week, able to come out with a big win, 966 to 872. Was closer than I expected it to be, but we were also playing one of the teams that we are likely going to be seeing in the playoffs. And again, after day one, we were losing by like 150. I was like, good God, this is not good. But my pitchers really came through strong. In fact, our top scorer was Sean Manaea. 2 phenomenal showings for us for 82 points. Then another 2 great starts for us this week. Ian Seymour Butts with 74 points. Then we had Mr. Ronald Acuna coming on with a little bit of life with 58 points. And then Jake Mangum. This guy played for the Rays last year, was traded, and now he is absolutely doing big things for the Pirates. Came in with 53 points for us. Now, there were a few starting pitchers that did not do as well as I wanted them to do, but at the same time, we really only had one starting pitcher that really crapped the bed. Individually, Max Muncy only started 3 or 4 games for us, and he only got 11 points, and that's still not bad. It's not good for what we've done before, and, Acuna getting 50-plus points, so that was our worst producer. We also had Spencer Miles for the Blue Jays. He got us 9 points, but he had a negative 5-point game. He gave up a few runs and only had 1 out, so that wasn't great. He could have had more. But then the only pitcher that really did poorly for us was Freddie Peralta. He got a rude awakening in his first start with the Rays. Let me double check, -4. Yikes. Now, he was playing in Colorado, obviously against the Rockies. So, again, they're not a bad team. They're actually hitting on a lot of cylinders, but still not good overall. Freddie Peralta, brother, you disappoint me. You disappointed the people of New York, but you're really disappointing fantasy owners. Let's move to the adds and drops. We added Sean Manaea, who again was a huge star for us. Also, Felix Bautista, who I talked about adding last week, and Justin Martinez, who again should be someone you're looking at, especially with the Diamondbacks getting rid of Paul Sewald and you having to go to Brandon Garcia, Kevin Ginkel, Gracilla, I'm not sure how to pronounce his name. Martinez, if he's not going to get hurt again, he's probably going to take over that closer's role again there in Arizona. We did put Justin Martinez and Felix Bautista both in the IL because we have a ton of spots there, but we did have to release some people to get them in the first place. So we released Zach Little, who was released by the Nationals, picked up by the Diamondbacks, and actually picked up the win last night. That's wild. And then we also released Eric Fetty because he's single-digit games, like the last 7 or 8 outings, not great for him. But he wasn't getting negative for us. So those are the last 3 to 4 weeks of the season are going to be crucial for us. We do not want to limp into the playoffs. We have clinched our spot, but we want to end this regular season on a high note, and I think we'll be able to, with the possibility of being first overall. Now, that also means we have to beat the number 1 overall team, which we have a chance to next week. So not this week we're currently in, but next week. I don't want to put the cart before the horse, but it sure would be nice if we were able to go into the playoffs number 1. But again, I'm not concerned about that, because once we get to the playoffs, which we will be there, we just, again, don't want to be complacent with it. Anything is possible. We got 24 stars to hammer out over a 2-week span, score as many points as possible. We're hitting, on pretty good cylinders right now, getting people off of the IL. But again, I do not want to be complacent. I don't want to get cocky, because we still got a lot of work to do. So now we're going to head on over to the Russell My Gym Jams team, where this was a good week for us. We actually took over first place overall in the league, because we were going against the number 1 team in the league, and we handed him a pretty good butt kicking. The win did get us in first place, and that's great. We have a 1-game lead over second place, but that has not guaranteed us a spot in the playoffs. It's not guaranteed us a first round bye, nothing like that. The top 6 make it, and obviously we want to be in the top 2 to make sure that we get that bye. But again, this is really just a week for us. We did well. We won 11 categories to 3 categories to 2 categories. We had a lot of big performers, but we cannot get cocky, we cannot get complacent, and we cannot let our hands or feet off the gas pedal. Let's get to our top performers, and the number 1 guy in this league this week for us was Mr. Alec Burleson. He had 5 extra base hits, 4 home runs, and 7 RBIs. Mickey Moniak had 4 extra base hits, 2 home runs, and 5 RBIs. We also had 2 home runs each from Mr. Dalen Lyle and Jung Ho Lee. We had 3 stolen bases from my man CJ Abrams. Then we had 2 phenomenal performances, like we talked about before, from Sean Manaea, 2 wins and 18 strikeouts. We also had wins from Mr. Kevin Gausman. Oh, you're back, baby. You're so back. Kyle Leahy and Christopher Sanchez. Duh, of course he's going to get a win. And we had 3 saves from Mr. Trevor Meagle. So again, my guys did great for me this week. But I just got done talking about Nemo hitting 2 home runs. Otherwise, he didn't really do a whole lot for me. Along with Hunter Goodman, he did have a home run for me, but they really didn't do much other than those 1 or 2 hits. We also had really bad starts from Clay Holmes, which first one back in like 2 months or something like that, he's allowed. Randy Dobnak, who was supposed to have a pretty good opportunity to pitch well. You didn't. Also, Matt Liberatore, Lord have mercy, you didn't do well. And Kyler Montero, you were the hero for us last week, and you faltered this week, so that's unfortunate. As we do the adds and drops, one of our biggest this week was Sean Manaea. Go figure. 2 great starts for us, 18 Ks, 2 wins. Woo! And he gets the Nationals this upcoming week. Now, don't get me wrong, CJ Abrams is doing great, but they no longer have James Wood. They no longer have Curtis Meade. They no longer have Luis Garcia Jr. They have Jacob Young. That's cool. The other ad was Randy Dobnak. Nothing sexy there. Moving to the drops, we dropped Randy Dobnak and also Kyler Montero and also Michael McGreevy. As we mentioned before, these last few weeks are going to be crucial for us in the regular season. We will face the other teams that we're going to be meeting in the playoffs, so let's not fall flat. Let's put on a good performance and make sure that we're finishing strong. Next thing we're talking about is the South Harmon Institute of Technology, and this was another good week for us. Good enough that got us into first place as well, so I'm pretty happy about that. We only have like a 4 or 5 game lead. The top 4 will get in, but of those top 4, we're all within about 7 games, and then there's a person in 5th place that's just half a game, full game out of the top 4. So it's not going to be a cakewalk. We have to stay strong, we have to stay committed, and we have to stay with our foot on the gas pedal like we talked about in the other leagues. We did end up winning 10 categories to 5 categories to 3 categories, and it was very nice having some of the same guys that we've already talked about, because if they're coming up big for us in one league, they're coming up big for us in another league. Our top performers did include Jake McCarthy with 23 total bases, 2 home runs, 5 RBIs, and 3 stolen bases. CJ Abrams also had 3 stolen bases, so that was cool. Then Jack Caglianone, good gosh, what a pickup. 20 total bases, 2 home runs, 7 RBIs, and a 478 batting average. Wow. My man Matt Olson had 3 home runs and 3 RBIs. Really? Again, solo home runs. And that was it. Luckily tonight he did drive someone else in because he had a 2-run home run, so that was good. But come on, bro. As we move to the pitching, we're going to hear some familiar names. Sean Manaea, Christopher Sanchez, Ian Seymour Butts, and the odd man out who I talked down so much last year and the beginning of this year, Brandon Pfaff. Yep. And I released him. Surprise, that's going to be a release we get to, because I was like, there's no way he's putting up numbers against the Dodgers. He put up better numbers against the Dodgers than he did the Patty Daddies. What got into Brandon Pfaff? I don't know, but all those pitchers I just named got me wins. Ooh, baby. As much as I would love to keep talking about how my guys did great for us, we now have to talk about guys who were not great for us. Taylor Ward. We've heard that name several times, and we're going to hear it again. Holy crap, dude. You got to do something or else I'm going to release you. My goodness. Then Xavier Edwards, another slow week. Come on, brother. You were doing so well. You and Otto Lopez, great 1-2 punch. Need y'all not to slow down, especially now. If you are, do it now and get right for the playoffs. Moving on to the pitching. Oh, God. We had 5 blown saves this week. Yep. Now, the one on Cade Smith was an error, so I hate that they counted against him. That sucks. Garrett Whitlock also had one. That was his fault, so it is what it is. Jacob Latch also had a blown save, so again, some of my main guys faltering just a little bit, but again, it's not the worst thing in the world. Get it out of your system now and not when it's, championship on the line. What's only 3? There were 5 total blown saves, right? Yeah. Edwin Diaz had 2 more. Tanner Scott, stay warm, buddy. Instead of just being the setup guy, you might end up being the closer, and you probably should be, because I don't know if Eddie Diaz is fully back like he should be. Moving on to the adds and drops, we added some names that helped us big time this week. Kyle Leahy, Sean Manaea, Brandon Pfaff, and Mauricio Dubon, and dropped Landon Root. We were chasing wins last week. Kumar Rocker, we were chasing wins last week. Sam Antonacci just wasn't doing it for me. And Brandon Pfaff, because who starts someone against the Dodgers? Not me. It backfired on me. Right now we're sitting at 165, 107, and 52. Number 1 overall, but nowhere near complacent or comfortable enough to where we can just sit back, relax, chilling, relaxing, all cool, because we have to keep our foot on the gas pedal. We're going to say it over and over as we leave ESPN and go over to the Yahoo leagues. And the first team we're going to talk about, none other than the Cucumbas. These last few weeks have not been good to us. We've actually lost twice, tied once, had 2 decent wins. But yeah, this week was a tie, 5-all, and my pitching let me down. You might say, your pitching lets you down quite often. You built your whole entire team around pitching. What's going on? Injuries, which everyone has injuries, but then also probably me not paying attention and using my ads probably like I should, because we only fell short by 5 strikeouts. Well, we picked up Cade Povich. Surprise, surprise, he didn't get us enough Ks. Ugh. We also didn't have the greatest outings from some of our pitchers. Woo, Scooble. It'd have been nice to get a little more, output from them. We still won ERA and WHIP, but a few more strikeouts. We also fell short with home runs by 1, RBIs by 2, and stolen bases also by 1. And I'm going to go ahead and say that we missed a home run and 2 RBIs from Mr. Dalen Lyle, which would have given us at least 2 more ties and given us a win, helping us just a tad bit more, but shoulda, coulda, woulda, right? This week, we did have 3 home runs and 8 RBIs from Mr. Dylan Dingler. Jake McCarthy gave us 2 home runs, 5 RBIs, and 3 stolen bases. We also had a really, really good outing from Mr. Logan Webb, or a few good outings from Logan Webb. Got us double-digit strikeouts and 1 win. We also had wins from Mr. Christopher Sanchez, Brian Wu, and David Bednar. Bednar also got us 2 saves, and Trevor Meagle also got us 3 saves. So, again, good production there. But we had some guys just weren't doing it for us. Ernie Clement, it was a slow week for you, brother, and that's unfortunate because you're not as productive in fantasy as you are in real life. You're a glue guy in real life, but you're not the fantasy asset that I would like for you to be. You have decent batting average, well, pretty good batting average, but the numbers just aren't accumulating. Again, you've done great for me. I don't plan on releasing you anytime soon unless something crazy comes up, but yeah, he's more of a role player in real life doing what he needs to rather than a fantasy player. But again, I love Ernie Clement. Also, Dalen Lyle, we missed his home run at the beginning of the week, of course. So that gave us a little bit of a kick in the butt to start off, and that kind of stinks. Like we talked about before, Xavier Edwards, slow week, man. Well, slow few weeks. What's going on with you, dude? Brandon Marsh hadn't been the same. That stinks. Those two guys, along with Taylor Ward, what are you doing? Gosh, you're so bad this year. So all those guys, slow weeks, unproductive weeks, very little production. And what can you do? Because they're good players, but it's not producing. On the pitching side, Cade Povich and Bryce Miller had less than stellar starts. And then relief-wise, oh man, Jeff Hoffman. What a freaking joke you are, dude. I hope no one released Andres Gomez for you like I told him to. I hope you didn't. Giovanni Soto. Gregory Soto, not Giovanni Soto. Gregory Soto. You gave up a run. And, I figured out the other person they brought in was Kirby Yates. To add on to last week, they brought in like 3 former closers, just like the Yankees did. And now Soto is no longer a closer. Brandon Garcia also let up some, and David Bednar gave up some runs. So, unfortunate. It didn't lose me wins or saves or whip or anything like that, but still, don't give up runs, guys. That's your job, man. Don't give up runs. As you see, as it drops, you can see them right there. We're going to talk about our current standings and what we need to do over these next few weeks. Now, we're sitting in first place, and that's great. 104 wins, 74 losses, and 12 ties. But we're only half a game ahead of second place. These next few weeks, we have to keep the gas pedal all the way to the floor, push it through the floor, hit it on the road, hit speed bumps. Do not let that up. Now, you've heard me say it multiple times. You're probably like, didn't this guy have anything else to say? No, we just need to keep everything firing. Now, I talked about this before, how for a while we hadn't lost. I think overall we've lost like 2 weeks. We've tied a few weeks, so that's unfortunate. But our wins were like 5-4, 6-4, 6-3, something like that. We weren't dominating. We won a few, 7-3, 8-2, something like that. But this is where it's coming back to bite us. We were winning, but we were not winning by enough. So still half a game lead. That's great. But with 3 or 4 weeks left, we have to build up enough of a lead. We have to win by more than 1 or 2 categories. And that's going to be unfortunate because we're not built to win by 3 or 4 categories. We're built to win by that 1 category, which once we get to the playoffs, it doesn't matter how many categories we win by as long as we win, right? But in any case, that's nice to know that we're still in first. Puts a little pressure on us these last few weeks. Now, next thing we're going to talk about is the Ken Murphy Dingers. Pretty comfortable win this week, 9-1. Not really any worry there. Now, that was the end of the trade deadline. I put in a few trades. Actually, I was trying to wheel and deal. Get people Mackenzie Gore, get people Yelich, see if I could trade Neto. I was trying to get people some good value. Unfortunately, no one responded, which that's unfortunate. But again, we came out with a win. That's good. We are in second place. Yes, we do have the opportunity to go into first place because we will play number 1 again next week or something like that in this league. So we're going to have a big week next week. So not this week we're currently in, but next week, because we're going against number 1 in 2 different leagues. So no pressure, but don't screw it up, right? As far as the production, we had Alec Burleson, 4 home runs, 7 RBIs. Matt Olson, 3 home runs, 3 RBIs. That stinks. Chase Meadroff, 2 home runs and 6 RBIs. That was big. We also had wins from Mr. Logan Webb, Mr. Brian Wu, Mr. Christopher Sanchez, Mr. Kyle Leahy, Mr. Kenley Jansen. Whoa, getting in on that fun, huh? And then Riley O'Brien also had 3 saves for us, so that was great. On the other side, Mr. Hunter Goodman, slow week. You know what? You did hit 1 home run for me, which in effect gave the guy for the Cucumbas that win over me, so that kind of pissed me off. But get your slow weeks out of the way. As much as I would love to see you in pinstripes, as long as you're still hitting with the Rockies, brother, I don't care where you're hitting. As long as you're hitting them over the fence for my team. There's that slow weeks from Corbin Carroll, which this has carried on a few weeks. He's down to like 230, 240 batting average. That's not great. And Daniel Lyle missed his home run and 2 RBIs to start the week. Of course we would. We also didn't have the best starts from a few guys, but it wasn't the worst in the world. Well, a few starters gave up a run or two. You know, Christopher Sanchez will allow that. The worst one was Jared Jones. I don't know if he's right. I was also trying to deal him away at the deadline, maybe get a few cheapy picks or something like that for him, but unfortunately, no one bit. Glad I didn't start him on, I think it was Saturday or Sunday. He got blown up in that start, so that probably would have cost me area whip, but it didn't, so we don't worry about it. As we move to the adds and drops, I was pretty happy with what we did. While not breaking the bank, we made some moves. We added Jackson Jobe, who had a phenomenal, spectacular, electrifying first start. And then we also added Brandon Garcia, 4 saves. Then we looked at my man, TJ Rumfeld. We didn't have him in this league. And I thought, you know what? We need some hits. We need some runs. We need some average. And Rumfeld's our guy. Last ad for this league was Kyle Leahy. My man coming through clutch against those stinking Rockies. On the other side, we dropped Robert Gasser because just not doing it for us anymore, man. Along with Kyler Montero because just not having that same magic as last week. And Christian Yelich, just not doing much of anything. I'm sure he's going to get scooped up real quick, but brother, just not doing it for him anymore. Yeah, that stinks because you're sitting against, lefties. You're hitting like 230. Yeah, you hit a home run last night or something like that on your team. So it is what it is. I'm not going to be chasing your stats when I already have some talented outfielders. So thank you for your service, Mr. Yelich. You're no longer needed, at least for this year. Now I'll be looking at you next year. Maybe a little later round pick, but your services are done at least for me for right now, unless you got a hot streak. 13 wins, 4 losses, and 2 ties. There's still a good bit of action left in this league because this is a keeper league. So, once you get the playoffs, you're dropping and adding anyone you can to help you win. But you also have to keep in mind, if you drop the wrong guy, someone that, I might be able to pick up or someone else might be able to pick up and keep and help them next year, something you got to keep in mind. So still lots of patience, still lots of keeping on the waiver wire because, buddy, if you drop Mike Trout, that was like a 20th round pick, brother, I'm going to pick him up. I'm going to use him as trade bait or I'm going to keep him. Now, I don't know if he's going to be doing much, but you know what I'm saying? Drop the wrong person, and he is now trade bait for someone else, and they're going to get someone better for him. The last team we're talking about is the Cheese Weasels. Now, this week, I have good news, but at the same time, I have bad news. Let's go ahead and start. I'm just going to read off this because, frankly, I'm just ready to make some moves in this league. So we had 1 home run each this week from Mr. Trey Turner, Zach Neto, Royce Lewis, Liam Hicks, and my boy Luis Garcia Jr. We had 2 home runs from Mr. Jake McCarthy. We had wins. We had a lot of wins. Mr. Logan Webb, 1. Jesus Luzardo, 1. Sean Manaea, 1. Jacob Latz, 1. And 2 for Mr. Ian Seymour Butts. We had 2 holds from Mr. Kevin Kelly, 1 hold from Jeff Hoffman, and 1 hold from Adrian Morejon. We had saves, 1 from Mr. Jacob Latz and 2 from my man Emilio Pagan. We had losses. Of course we had losses. Michael King, brother, I wish you were better. I'm kind of glad the Yankees got rid of you, but I kind of wish we still had you anyway. Paul Skeens, because you get no help. You got the loss tonight. You gave up 1 run in like 6 innings. The score was 2-0. Pirates. You can't help your man out. Daggone it. Zach Wheeler had a loss. Did not look like him against the Blue Jays. That was kind of weird. And Jeff Hoffman, because he blew a save along with Jacob Lapp. So now you might be thinking, okay, it's pretty normal stuff. Well, the good news is we're leading in strikeouts and we're doing pretty well with saves. We're in second. Middling with ERA and WHIP. We're definitely last with the least amount of points in losses and also in blown saves. But what's the bad part? The bad news is we are nowhere near where we want to be with holds. We're like 12 behind. I'm like, whoa, what is going on here? Well, I'm not getting as many holds as I would like. So that's unfortunate. As far as offense, we are middle to bottom in all categories, and that stinks. There's very little, if anything, we can do about that. So again, I'm just going to be hoping for pitching to get us a little higher than where we are. I'm going to have to change my approach next year and get nothing but home run hitters. It's a super low average, super high K rate, super high number of home runs. But in any case, we're going to have to figure something out by the end of the season, because this is, the third, fourth season in a row. We've done good in pitching and middling at best in the hitting category. Without doing further recaps, let's go ahead and get to the people I think you should add with the August 14th deadline for the call-ups to happen. There are a few guys definitely need to be looking at. Main one, Joshua Baez, getting hot again there at AAA, hitting some home runs. He's got over 30 in AAA. Yeah, you need to make sure if you have an NA spot, you grab that. It is going to be the 12th when this eventually comes out. So you got 2 days to look across your waiver wire. They've already called a few guys up. Kalen Culpepper for the Twins. Versatile guy, really going to make a difference in that lineup, because the Twins shortstop position was terrible. Well, Brooks Lee was right. Brooks Lee was decent, but he played second, he played third. You also, have said, well, who else was on that infield? Royce Lewis. Finally getting hot, but for 3/4 of the season, he was a turd on a log. There's going to be some pitchers that are going to be called up. There are going to be fluctuating starts between the teams because they want to continue on their routine down in AA, AAA. They don't want to call them up and just have them sitting around, right? So I know the Cardinals have a few guys that are being called up. The Nationals also have a few guys that are being called up. So keep an eye out for those. But this week, Zach Veen was called up for the Rockies. Sizzling. That's what the Yahoo people use. Sizzling August so far at AAA. So he put on a lot of muscle. Not a whole lot of production from that Rockies outfield other than your boy Jake McCarthy. So he's definitely going to be getting some time. Now they caught him up and then he sits nice. That doesn't make any sense, but whatever. They didn't ask me if he should start. So Zach Veen should be someone you're looking at. Definitely feel like Royce Lewis, ride the hot wave. He is doing some stuff, and I don't know when he's going to stop, but he's doing a few good things for people. First, second, and third eligibility. Bryson Stott also ticking up. He's got 26 stolen bases, 50 plus RBIs and runs scored. He only has like 8 home runs, but he has second, third, and shortstop eligibility because they moved him over to third with Luis Arias coming over playing second, Bohm's playing first. So I really do like Stott for stolen bases, and he's hitting like fifth or between fifth and seventh. So yes, the middle to bottom of the lineup, that's not great, but if you have a few guys who are getting on base, it's going to allow him to at least get up to bat. Luis Arias went 0 for 6 the other night. Lord, when's the last time that happened? I don't know. But his batting average was down to 325. What the heck? So Bryson Stott could be a hot pickup for you. Pitching wise, Kyle Leahy. If he is not owned in your league, what are you doing? Pick up Kyle Leahy. Also, Martin Perez, another great outing tonight. What in the world, dude? Andre Palante, he's not a sexy name, but again, another good outing tonight. If they're available, The Cardinals pitching is not terrible. Now, McGreevy has, a few rocky starts here and there. Liberatore, not a great start, but George Sirianno, Ryan Stanek, I call him Stank, but Ryan Stanek, and then, of course, Raleigh O'Brien. So the pitching for the Cardinals looking pretty good. Quinn Matthews should be coming up again. So that's not the sexiest of teams, but they're getting the job done right now. Hayden Wisniewski. I know him and like him from his Cubs days. But Hayden Wisniewski is another guy. He's not sexy, but he'll get the job done. He's not going to win you the game, but he's not going to lose it for you. So pick him up if you have, pitching woes, if you need someone to help you out there. Someone that just came off the IL, Soroka, he could help you if he's not owned. Blake Snell, I'm sure, is owned, but he also came off the IL recently. Justin Martinez, talked about picking him up in a few of my leagues. He is coming off the IL, and let's be real, the Diamondbacks don't have anyone better closing in that position, so pick up Justin Martinez. Andrew Kittredge has assumed the position as closer for the Orioles, so grab him up. Chase Meadroth, now, he did hurt himself last week on a follow-through. I think it was like Saturday or Sunday. So that's not great, but the White Sox are doing big things, and Meadroth has 74 runs scored. That's pretty good for a bad team. Also, remember Chase Meadroth missed the ball and it hit him in the head last year. That was in my video, 30 teams in 30 days of him getting hit in the head. That's how I remember Chase Meadroth. Not for 74 runs and I think 11 home runs. He's only got like 47 RBIs, nothing sexy there, but he's hitting like 270, 260, 270. So again, he's putting up numbers that make him like, oh, you should look at this guy. So again, could be an option for you, depending on, maybe if you have someone better, don't drop them for him, but just keep an eye on him, because if it is a wrist injury, he's going to be out for a little bit. So that was just really off the top of the head. People I think you should add, people that could be beneficial to. Next week we're going to have more names of like specific people to pick up on teams coming up. So hopefully you are keeping up with your team. Like for the Yankees, George Lombard, he's probably a guy who's already gone in your league. He was already a highly touted prospect. So if you're in a prospect dynasty league, he's probably gone. But he's done pretty well so far. A lot of poise so far. Definitely replacing Anthony Volpe. So glad he gone. I wish he would replace Jazz Chisholm, because I can't stand him. I wish we wouldn't have got him. Same with Giancarlo Stanton, but I digress. Anyways, that's going to do it for the recaps. That's going to do it for the people I think you should add. Please keep an eye on your teams, because obviously I can't name everyone, just, some of the players here and there. Looking forward to talking to you. I hope your fantasy dreams are coming true through this year, and our playoff runs are going to be starting soon. This is JK Carroll. Thank you for sharing part of your day with me.